Trump is supposed to die in 2026. That's what The Simpsons predicted. Hey guys, do the writers of The Simpsons really have some kind of real-time machine, or is it all just a huge coincidence? A cartoon show that almost 30 years ago already told us who would become president, which big company would get sold, and even what new tech would come out. Whenever something big happens in the world, an old clip from The Simpsons pops up and everyone is shocked. In today's video, we'll talk about how accurate The Simpsons predictions are, especially those for 2026. It's starting to look like a surprisingly true story. Is it just some amazing script writing, or is there something more mysterious behind it? Guys, Disney bought 20th Century Fox, but the craziest part is that this was shown in a TV show back in 1998. That means a whole 19 years before the actual deal happened, an episode clearly showed a sign outside Fox Studios that said a division of the Walt Disney Corporation. At the time, people just thought it was a funny joke, but in 2019, when Disney actually bought Fox Studios for nearly $71 billion, everyone was shocked. Back then, was it just a coincidence, or do the writers of The Simpsons actually have a real-time machine? Because a lot of their predictions seem to be coming true all the way up to 2026. From smartphones to elections, this show has surprisingly nailed it in many cases. So can The Simpsons really see the future? Another question pops up. Did The Simpsons already predict the flying police of 2026? There was an old episode where cops wore jetpacks and flew through the sky catching criminals. At the time, it just seemed like a joke. It's gotten pretty close to reality now. In fact, places like Dubai and the UK have already started testing jetpack technology for the police. The tech has advanced so much that by 2026, you might see cops flying over traffic jams, patrolling from the sky. It's not just sci-fi anymore, it's slowly becoming real. Just imagine how it would look if traffic cops were watching you from above. Simpsons' prediction feels like it's about to come true. Another cool example is Lady Gaga's Super Bowl performance. In a 2012 episode, it showed Lady Gaga performing while flying above a stadium. Then, exactly 5 years later, in the 2017 Super Bowl halftime show, a pretty similar scene actually happened. The crazy part is that the outfit she wore in The Simpsons and the way she performed while flying matched the real performance a lot. A lot of people online now think this is one of The Simpsons' most spot-on predictions ever. But is it just a coincidence, or did the show's writers have some special insight into the future? Another Simpsons prediction was the horse meat scandal in 2013. About scandals, in a 1994 episode, it showed kids' food in the school canteen being mixed with horse meat. Back then, everyone thought it was just a weird cartoon joke, but almost 20 years later, in 2013, a huge scandal broke out in Europe. It turned out that many big companies were selling horse meat disguised as beef. It was exactly like that Simpsons episode from years ago. Also, many believe The Simpsons even hinted at the coronavirus pandemic. In a 1993 episode, it showed something coming from Osaka, Japan. A virus called the Osaka flu spread through parcels in the town of Springfield. When the COVID pandemic started in 2020, scenes from that episode quickly went viral on social media. There were some similarities between the flu shown in The Simpsons and the real virus, like how fast it spread and how people's normal lives came to a halt. Although the show's writers said they were inspired by the 1968 Hong Kong flu when they wrote that story, and that it was just a coincidence. Still, as fears of new viruses grew towards 2026, people once again are digging up old Simpsons episodes. Many are wondering if The Simpsons really have some kind of magic mirror that lets them see future events before they happen. So let's find out the truth behind those scary predictions about Springfield and Roy. In a 1993 episode, two magicians named Gunter and Ants were shown. They were characters modeled after the famous magicians Siegfried and Roy. In that episode, a white tiger suddenly attacks them. At the time, viewers just thought it was a funny scene. It happened, but exactly 10 years later, in 2003, during a live show in Las Vegas, the real magician Roy Horn was attacked by his own white tiger, Montecore. The attack was so brutal that Roy was seriously injured, and his career ended forever. What's surprising is that Simpson didn't just show the attack itself. Even the tiger's color and the whole situation matched the real event quite closely. This raises the question, was it just a coincidence, or did the writers already know that such accidents with wild animals could happen? Now let's move on to another strange prediction about human cloning, 2002.
In the episode Send the Clones, it showed Homer and Simpson creating a bunch of clones to avoid doing their own work. Back then it was just a funny story, but today's technology has brought that idea much closer to reality. Interestingly, many of the cloning concepts shown with Simpson actually match up with modern scientific research. While human cloning is still banned, scientists have made huge breakthroughs in cloning animals, like the famous sheep named Dolly. Experts say that by around 2026, genetic engineering could get so advanced that it'd be hard to completely deny the idea of a cloning army like the one The Simpsons showed. The show seemed to hint early on what kind of dangers could come from misusing technology. Another big question is, did The Simpsons also predict Donald Trump's plan to build a border wall? In a 2009 episode called Coming to America, Springfield's people decide to build a huge wall to keep out immigrants. The funny thing is, just 7 years later, Donald Trump made that a real part of his election campaign. There was a promise to build a wall on the border, just like in the Simpsons cartoon, where people started building the wall themselves. That was pretty similar to Trump's border wall policy. Although that episode wasn't made specifically targeting Trump, the fact that it showed such ideas about speeches and border walls so long ago surprised a lot of people. The terrible accident with the Titan submarine, which went to see the Titanic wreckage in 2023, shook the whole world. And once again, The Simpsons came up in discussions because of an episode from 1998. Homer's dad got trapped in a submarine that broke apart near some underwater wreckage. What's crazy is that the submarine in the cartoon looked a lot like the real Titan sub. Both were small, went deep underwater, and ended up in an accident. Although in the cartoon, Homer's dad survived, in real life, everyone on the Titan sub died. Because of these similarities, people started linking that old episode to the Titan disaster. There was also another prediction about technology and jobs. In a 2012 episode called Robot, Mr. Burns fires all the workers at his power plant and replaces them with advanced robots. Fast forward to 2026, and this isn't just a cartoon story anymore. Because of AI and automation, millions of jobs worldwide are at risk. Big companies like Google and Tesla are building robots that can work faster and more efficiently than humans. The Simpsons showed that eventually robots start to take over from people, and today many experts are giving similar warnings about the possible risks of AI technology. If you have any thoughts about the video, drop a comment. Take care and stay well.